Hey guys, welcome back. Hope you all are doing well. This is Mohammad Badruddin, and today we are going to solve another lab from Web Security Academy from the topic file upload vulnerability. This is server-side topic, or you can say this is server-side vulnerability, where a client tricks the server while uploading image file or any kind of file which is not actually permitted by the server, but somehow hacker or the malicious actor is able to or try to upload that malicious file on the server. So we already have seen many ways and many kind of validations from the server side which we can or a malicious actor can trick and upload the arbitrary file to the server. But this lab is going to be very special, and it is very hard because uh, the server actually doing a good validation, but even though there is a vulnerability or there is a certain kind of condition that we can or a malicious actor can uh, exploit. So what happened, sometimes web applications actually before uploading the file, once the client requests to upload a file, the server take that request and get that file and put that file in some kind of sandbox or any file system directory where the server uh, scan the file whether that file is actually malicious or not. If the file is not malicious, it is going to save. If it is malicious, it is going to reject. Fine. But for a very little period, that file is actually server accept and put it in sandbox or in its file system. So the that little time when the server take that file and put that file in its file system, it means the file is already on the server, and during that little period of time, if an attacker can request that file, he may access that file. So this kind of situation is gonna raise a race condition. So before actually going to that, this warning as always for you, this video and its contents are only for educational purpose and I do not support any unethical or illegal act. That's been said, let's go to the lab again. And before actually go and solve this lab, I just want to explain a bit about race condition. What is race condition? So race condition occur once a system or a software or an application attempts to perform multiple tasks at the same time. Task can be must be more than one. It can be two, maybe three, maybe four, or more than that. But the condition, once the software or application attempts to perform multiple tasks at that instant, the race condition occur. This race condition can be exploited, and we will see in a minute how we can exploit that. So this is the lab. Web shell upload via race condition. This lab contains a vulnerable image upload functionality. Although it performs a robust validation on any file that are uploaded, it is possible to bypass the validation entirely by exploiting a race condition in the way it processes them. So to solve the lab, upload a basic PHP web shell as we did in the previous labs, then use it to exfiltrate the contents of the file, and this is going to be your file. Then submit it here in this button. Okay, and we have valid user credentials. So let's go, and we are going to log in. Fine. So this time I am going to actually already I open up the burp suite, so I'm going to capture each and every request. So just refresh the page so that we got it here. Then the next is okay, we are already in login page, so WIENER and WEPTER, PETER. and we are logged in. Then if we go to browse image to upload it, we go to file upload functionality. This is the genuine image, so we click it and upload, and as we can see the file has been uploaded. The next part is to view this file. So you can see this is the URL on which we can view the uploaded file. So every request we actually captured in the Burp Suite. There are other ways to solve this lab. We can use the turbo intruder to exploit that race condition, but in this lab I am going to write our own exploit, my own exploit with the Python. So if you are interested to use turbo intruder, you can actually go to the extender, then go to the B app store, and here you can search turbo intruder. So as you can see here, you can click on it and you can install it. So this is actually a very good feature, a very good tool supported by the Burp Suite, and this is developed by the Burp Suite. So you have many customization here. You can write your own Python script here, but there are some certain features or functions are there already written for this tool, so you can directly use instead of writing 2-3 line of code. So you can do that. But for this video I am going to write my own Python exploit. Okay, so let's go back, go to the proxy, and these all the requests we have. Now I want to show you few things here. If I click on the login, so you can see here. So once we go to the login page, we have a session ID, and this is the login page. And as you can see in the login page, we here just have two fields. So the first one is username and the another one is password. But here you can see one more field is there which is hidden, that is CSRF value. So we need this CSRF value actually to log in. And if you go to the post request where we log in and put the credentials, so you can see this session ID and this session ID is same, and we put the CSRF value, username and password, and once we log in we are assigned with new session ID. So rest of the task we will do in this application with this session ID after login what we got. Then as you can see we got to my accounts, so you can see this session ID and this session ID which we are assigned after login, this is same. So rest of the activity whatever we do with this session ID. So these are the important points that I want to mention before I'm going to write the code, so you know everything. Now once we come to the my account page, you can see your username is Wiener. It means we are already logged in and we are now in the Wiener user page. Here you can see again, if I come here and I show you at the time of post request we have this CSRF. Last four alphabets are LZ8Q. But if we come here and just write CSRF, so as you can see here, this CSRF value also changed, same like session ID. So before authentication we have another CSRF value and another session ID. After login we have different session ID and different CSRF. But after login, what we are assigned by the application, the session ID and the CSRF, rest of the task as a user, logged in user, whatever we perform, we need this session ID and this CSRF. So this is the CSRF and this is the session ID, right? So we need these two things. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to write a code to log into this application. So what actually we need is user/bin/in and Python 3. Then I need to import few modules like import request, then import URL lib3, then import actually from bs4 import beautiful soap. Okay, rest of the modules as we required we will import here. Next thing is proxies equals to so here we need to assign the HTTP proxy. So we are using HTTP proxy http://127.0.0.1:8088 because in my burp suite I'm using this port, because 8080 port I'm using for Apache. So you can use the default port. The next burp proxy I'm using is HTTPS, which is http:// because actually there is no HTTPS proxy I'm using, so I just mentioned the HTTP. Next is, because as we see here that all these requests and all these actions depends on session IDs and the CSRF values. So instead of manually grab or fetch from the request, we actually going to use the session request, so that with each session we already contain the session ID value in our cache. So with the same session, whatever we do, it will take automatically. So session is equal to request dot session session. Fine. So the next step, login. I don't need this now. So to login, we create one function, that is def get underscore login, and for login the first thing we need is URL. So URL is going to be this. So copy this is the URL and paste it here. Next thing we need is to create a request. So R is equals to session dot get request, because we are not going to pass any data. So why we are going to get this request? So that the initial session ID we have we get and we can log in with that, right? So URL comma verify is equals to false. Why? Because this is the HTTPS site, we are sending the request to HTTPS site and we don't want SSL validation, that's why verify is equal to false. Then proxies equals to proxies. Fine. Now what I need to do is we need to grab actually the CSRF value, because the session ID will be saved in a session, but CSRF value will not, because this is not the cookie. CSRF value is not the cookie, so we need to grab the CSRF value. And how we will do that is from the beautiful soap. So soap is equals to beautiful soap, and inside beautiful soap r.text comma html.parser. Then from here we can grab the value. So value of CSRF is gonna be soap.find, and from soap.find the tag name is, if I show you here, this is the login get request, right? So if we go down, this is the CSRF value. So the CSRF value is inside the input tag of HTML, and the parameter is name, and the value is CSRF. So we need to grab its value from the input tag, and the name of the field is name, which is CSRF. This is the value, and we need to get its value. So dot get, and get what? Get value, because if you come here, you can see this is the value we need. So we will grab this. Fine. So to just see whether it's working or not, I am going to print the value. So save it as the desktop file upload race.py. Hit enter, and here we need to call this function. So get underscore login. We are going to here cd desktop and take this also, so that we will know we get something or not. Little bit adjustment. Okay, clear. Sorry, cd file upload. Yep. So Python 3, and come on, clear Python 3 and race.py. So if we hit enter, what is that? Line number 9. This is the line number 9. Oh, sorry, typo. requests. Is that? Yeah. So now let's run one more time, and you can see we will get the login get request. So come here, hit enter one more time, and you can see we get the login request, and this is the CSRF value. So if you come here down, you can see this is the CSRF value, NAUHZ. So we are successfully getting the CSRF value. Now about this warning, we can actually handle this warning. Come back here, and here URL lab3 dot disable underscore warnings. Save it. So now next time we will not get the warning. Yeah, now we only get the CSRF value. Now we need to pass this value to the next function for the login post request. So instead of print, I'm going to say return value. That's it, and we don't need to call this function here. Fine. Now what we need to do is, now we need to log in. So post underscore login. So login post request this time. And what we need for the login, the first thing we need is URL. So URL is going to be the same, this one. Copy and paste it here. Next we need the CSRF value. So to get the CSRF value, we need to call this function, because this function is returning the CSRF value. So copy this, and we will say here CSRF is equal to this. So this function will grab the CSRF value and put in the variable CSRF. Now the next thing we need data which we need to pass. So data is gonna be, the first thing is CSRF, because if you go here, post request login, so first we need CSRF value, then username, then password. So CSRF, and actually we already have this value in a variable, so we don't need single quotes. Then username, and username is Wiener. Then we need password, so password is gonna be Peter. Fine, that seems good. The next thing we need is to send the request, because we don't need session ID. We already saved the session ID in this session. So we just need to say R is equal to s dot post, and inside post request we need URL is equal to URL, comma, data is equals to data, comma, verify is equal to false, then proxies equals to proxies, and once it actually login, it is going to redirect your request 302 found. It means it is going to redirect, so we are going to follow the redirect. So allow redirects and is equal to true. That's it. That seems good. And now what we need to do is just grab the response r.text in res variable, and in the response, if you see the application, let's log in Wiener and Peter. So if we log in, we find that after login we got some strings here like my account, your username, update email. So if we found upload, it means we will be login, or if we find Wiener, it means we will be login. So to confirm, if upload in response, we are going to say print, and print what? Login successfully. So I'm going to save this, and let's call this function, and we will confirm whether we can log in or not. So post login, and let's go run this again in the burp suite. Control A and clear all of the history, clear this, and let's run python race py. So as you can see, first we make the get request for the login page so that we will grab the CSRF. Then we make the post login request where we put the CSRF value, Wiener and Peter is the password, and we are assigned new session ID. And because we are working with the sessions, so we do not need to care about this because this is already saved in the session. And as you can see here, login successfully. Why? Because we follow the redirect, and after redirection we comes to the my account page, and here if we go down, so we said if upload is there, right? So upload, so as you can see we have upload, or we can also, because upload is also here, so we can just say Wiener. So instead of upload, we should choose something which is not there in the previous pages without login. So even if now we run the script, we will see we are logged in successfully. and once we logged in successfully, so you can see we are assigned with new session ID and new CSRF value. So CSRF, and this is the new CSRF value. Fine. Again, so let's go and see the upload one more time. Burp suite, and let's upload one more time so that we will know what we need. It's uploaded. Come here. This is the post request where we upload. So in upload, what we need, the first thing is we need this data where the name of the form is avatar. Okay, and then at last we need the username, which is winner, and the CSRF value, which is this. Right, so we need to create another request, another post request. So let's go and create this. Okay, now we don't need this, and instead of that, actually we need to grab the new CSRF value from this request, right? So we will follow the same process. Let's take this so that we can save the time. Copy this, paste it here, because again this CSRF value is in the input tag. So if you come here, you can see this is the input tag where we have the CSRF value. So the method to grab the CSRF value is same. Fine, so we get the CSRF value. Next thing, we need the name also to upload the file. If we go to the post request of file uploading and go down, you will see it also requires the name of the user. So if I send this request to the repeater, go to the repeater, and if I just delete the name and send it, so it is going to say unauthorized, right? But if I say WIENER, okay, because with the same CSRF now it is going to perform all the tasks. So that's fine. This time we get the request and file is successfully uploaded. So we need this, and we need a file to upload. So from this request, from this post request, we will get the username. So if I come here and this is the post request, then we come up to here by redirecting, allow the redirects. So you can see here there are two things. One is username, which is in the hidden field, and another is CSRF value. We need to grab both of these. So we already grabbed value for CSRF. Now we need value for name. So name is equal to soap.find and input, then dot get value. So the name is name and its value is user. Fine. So save that, and we can confirm it whether we can grab or not. So just print print what? Print value, and what is the next is name. Yeah, so save it and call this function again. So we will know, okay, up to now we are good. Clear, hit enter again, and yeah, this is the CSRF value and this is the winner username. So if I come to the my account page and go down, so you can match the CSRF value WP ZP FWP and value of the user from here it's winner, right? So we are good up to now. We don't need this, and actually we don't need this. Instead of print, we are going to return two values. The first is CSRF value. Actually, let's call it CSRF. It's better. CSRF. So CSRF, comma, name. That's it. Now the next function we need to create is to upload the file. Fine. So def upload file, and what we need to do is we need CSRF. So CSRF is equals to, and from where we get the CSRF? From this function. So we need to call this function, copy inside this function, paste, get login. Actually, let's say it values, because this function returns two values. Now CSRF is gonna be values, and the first value will be the CSRF, and name is equals to values, and the second value is the name value, the username, right? Now here it comes, because we need to follow the race condition. So what I need to do, I say okay, at the same time we will run two loops. In one loop we will upload the file, and at the same time we will, in another loop, we will read the file. Because as I mentioned before, that this application is actually once you give or once you post the file, the request goes to the server, and server put that file in somewhere like in sandbox or in its file system to just scan the file. Okay, so if the file is malicious in the scan results, so it is gonna delete that file or reject that file. So but for a little period of time that file is in the file system, and if you are able to read that file in that little period of time, you may get the result, right? So what we will do here, as I mentioned, race condition is what we will upload the file, and at the same time we will read the file. So we will perform two tasks at the same time. This is the race condition. So for I in range, let's say 10 times, what we need is URL 1, let's say, and the value of URL 1. So now we need the URL. Actually, turn off the burp proxy. The session should not be expire, otherwise we need to again paste the URL everywhere. Okay, where we upload the file, here we upload the file. So this is the URL to upload the file. So just copy the URL and come back here and paste it here. Fine. Next thing, you need a file to upload. So files is equals to another thing I want to mention here. If we see this request closely, the first thing in the form data is the name, and name is avatar. So for this we need avatar first, right? Then inside it we will open the file and we will read the file. So the file name is, we created that file or not? No, so we need to first create this file. Clear nano 123.php, hit enter, and here we are going to create a malicious file or PHP file. So php echo, let's say brother, and then dot, and then uh, file underscore get underscore contents, and which file content we need is /home /carlos /secret secret, and then just close this, save it, control X. So cat 123.php, because let's, yeah, so you can see echo mother, first it will execute this command, then it will bring us the content of this file. Fine, so clear. Now we need to put the file name here, that is 123.php, and we need to read this file, so read in bytes. Fine. Okay, so we have URL, we have file, now we need data. So data is gonna be what? The first thing is user, and the user value we already have here in the name, so this is a variable, we do not need single quotes. Next thing, we need CSRF value, so CSRF, and we already have CSRF value in CSRF variable, so CSRF, and let's now make the request. So R is equal to from the session, so session.post means s.post, and URL is equal to URL1, comma data, or we can say files is equal to files, comma data is equal to data, comma verify is equals to false, comma proxies equals to proxies, and allow redirects, allow underscore redirects equals to false, right? Because if we allow redirect, so maybe this request needs more time, and we want to execute this request 10 times, so until it finished the redirect, it will not come to again make the request, so we need the less time. Okay, or we can also, this is my thinking, you can also set this to true. Okay, yeah, that seems fine. So the file is uploaded, we will, let's just set it to 1, and we will try to see the response. So print r.text, save it, and let's just call this function. So upload underscore files, save it, and come here. So this is control A, I'm going to clear the history again, python3 res.py, upload files is not defined, what we messed up, upload file not files, save it, run it again, and we are getting the request, login successful, sorry, only JPG and PNG files are allowed. It means our request is good, we are working fine, because we are trying to upload the PHP file which is not allowed. But actually that server put that file somewhere to scan, so you will see that in a minute. Now we don't need this print request, And what actually we need is we need to create one more function where we read the file. So read underscore file. So to read the file, we just need a normal GET request. So for x in range, let's say 10. Here also make 10, and we need URL. So say URL 2 is equals to. So to read the file, if I come here and view image, so this is gonna be the URL. So from where you can read the file, but we don't have this mountains. We want to read the file which we upload. So the file we upload is 123.php. That's it, and just make the request. So req equals to from the session, because we need session ID. So s.get and URL is equal to URL2, or you can just write URL2, it will work, and verify is equals to false. F is capital. Fine. And comma proxies equals to proxies. That's fine. Yeah. And one more thing, if brother in r.text, actually not r.text, it's request.text. So if in the response of this request, this string we found, so just print the request.text, copy and paste it here, and then break the loop. Fine. Save it. But now the thing is how you will run these two loops at the same time. So this is the very important thing, and this is a bit tricky, and this is a bit complex. So to actually run or to execute two for loops in the same time, we need actually threading. So for threading, there is a separate module in the Python. So let's import threading, threading. Yeah, this is the module. And what you need to do here is we need to create the threads. So thread, let's say thread 1, and thread 1 is gonna be threading threading dot thread, and inside it, let's say the target first is gonna be the this function. So upload file, copy this, paste it here, and start this thread. So thread dot start, and that's it. So this will start this loop, and similarly we will create another thread for the second loop, and this time let's say thread 2, and the target is gonna be read file. So read underscore file. That's it. And here thread 1 dot start, and here thread 2 dot start. Save it. Let's check one more time. So up to here we are good. Even up to here we are good. But I want to do one more thing. I don't want to send these requests through the proxies, because again it is time consuming, because the request goes through the proxy and come through the proxy, so it will take much time. and this request also I don't want to send it from there, from the proxy. And why I match this string, because if you remember, if I get the PHP file what we created, so you will see that first I am going to echo this string, then content. So if our file, this PHP file, if in case this PHP file executed, so first of all it is going to echo this string, then we will get the content, because we don't know what is inside this file, but what string we echo, that we know. So according to that, we say here, if you find this in the response, just print it and break the process. So save it and let's go and run it. Um, and this time we don't need burp suite because we are not going to take these requests. Just say home. Yeah, it's still alive. And wait a moment. So we are logged in successfully, and in the first attempt we got the, because up to here it's echo this string, then after this we have, this is gonna be the secret file content. So just take this, submit the solution, paste it here, okay, and congratulations, you solved the lab. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you like the content, please like, subscribe and share, and support me as much as you can. See you in the next video. Bye.